Today we make a boozy concoction from the one and only Doc Parks. This is Once a Villager. Doc Parks was making this back when he was on tour in 2023, and he shared that recipe before, and you can also find it in the Fassionola book. It's a recipe that Doc Parks revised over several years, and Doc says that this is for the rum lovers that are not fazed by zombies, jet pilots, or grogs. Now this does call for a gold fassionola or passionola syrup, and I happen to have some of Doc's gold fassionola on hand. And a couple years ago, I shared that recipe. There'll be a link to it up here and in the description as well. But you can always sub in passion fruit syrup instead. It's not going to be the same, but it will get you reasonably close. Now, it also calls for Doc Spices number 1, and we don't know what that is. He still has some secrets, but we can sub in equal parts of allspice tram and a demerara syrup. That's actually what the recipe in the book says to do. It also calls for 3 rums, specifically naming out Worthy Park 109, and then an aged Jamaican pot still rum and an aged Barbados rum. Since I'm going like full maximalist here for this one, I don't want to skimp on the rum, so I'm using Hamden 8 for the Jamaican and Dorley's 14 for the aged Barbados rum. Now this one right here, the Dorley's 14, put that in a daiquiri, come back here, thank me later. So this is a strong one, and I think even if you're just having one of these, it might be smart to start with today's sponsor, which is ZBiotics. Saturday nights with my wife and friends, Sunday mornings with my kids, those are both non-negotiable. ZBiotics pre-alcohol is the small thing I added that made the whole weekend easier. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to break down acetaldehyde, a byproduct of drinking alcohol. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme that is designed to break down this byproduct. Make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and enjoy your next day activities. ZBiotics has sold more than 14 million bottles and earned the trust of thousands, including us. Try it for yourself today, and if you're unsatisfied, they will refund your entire order, no questions asked. Just head to zbiotics.com/makedrink and use the code MakeDrink for 15% off your first order. I was on a family trip about 3 weeks ago, and my sister-in-law had some ZBiotics, and she offered one to me, and I said thank you. She asked me if I had ever had it, and I said yes, of course. And then she said it would be so cool if they sponsored your channel. And I said, yeah, that would be super cool. Thanks for watching. So let's go ahead and make this one. I'm gonna use the drink mixer, but if you don't have a drink mixer, just go ahead and shake it. Start with 1 dash of absinthe, 3/4 ounces of lime juice, 2 ounces of pineapple juice, half an ounce of the gold fassionola, 1/4 ounce of Doc Spices number 1, 1/8 ounce of falernum, 1.5 ounces of the Worthy Park 109 rum, 1 ounce of an aged Jamaican rum, and 1 ounce of an aged Barbados rum. There you go from Doc Parks. It's Once a Villager. All right, before we jump into it, I'm going to throw away this flower because I'm like 100% sure it's poisonous. It's only flower I had in my garden. Second, I often get a question about how to put ice in, or sometimes it's an actual question. Sometimes it's like a snobby cocktail person, like upset that I put ice in the glass first and then pour the drink in. And the reason you want to do this is because if you're using pineapple juice or something else that foams up really well, then when you put ice on top of your foam, you're just pushing that down or killing the foam. So if you have an idea for the final volume of your drink, in this case, a drink in the tin, and you know how much ice to put in, and you can basically fill the whole thing up, you should do that. That often takes practice. You have to kind of know the size of your glass, the size of the drink that you have. And oftentimes it's the first time you're making it, you're not gonna be able to tell. But if you're wondering why, that's why I put ice in the glass first when I can, because I have some knowledge about the the size of the glass and how much is in the tin, and I want to preserve that foam. And in this case, like, great example, because this just looks awesome. The foam not only has kind of fallen over the side of the snifter here, but it's stayed there. It's still there after a couple minutes, and it looks awesome. And you don't get that if you put the ice in last. So let's go ahead and try it. Cheers. Considering what is inside the glass, it's relatively restrained and subtle. It is not overly intense or funky, and you can put funkier things in here if you want to, but the rums here are just bold and big flavors without the funk. So Dorley's 14, it's a delicious, if you like that aged rum, if you like the oaky notes or like kind of the orange peel notes I often get from the Appleton aged rums, you get some of that. You get the Jamaican component here too, obviously from the Hampton. You get more Jamaican from Worthy Park 109, which also tends to taste a little bit kind of like a demerara rum with that like dried, burned flavor. And then each of the other things in here, from the absinthe to the falernum to dock spices to the gold fassionola, they're subtle. None of them are taking over the drink. There's not like a flavor that particularly sticks out too much, stands out too much, but it has a very delicious yet not over the top juiciness, which I appreciate. Sometimes the people want to get away from using fruit juices because it's like, oh, tiki's just fruit juices and rum, and it can be. And 6 ounces of pineapple juice with some light rum, I don't find that good. But if you can use the right amount of juice and rum and obviously spices and syrups to get that juicy quality without it being like a juice bomb, that's what I love. If you're interested in the glassware I use, this is a smaller snifter. It's not the big like 20 plus ounce balloon ones. I typically don't like to use those because they never seem, the volume of the drink never seems to fill it, even if you use a ton of ice. I think this is at 17 ounces, and I think it's Libby. Most of the glassware I use here, it's either vintage, it's from Crate and Barrel, or I find it on Amazon, and the ones that are on Amazon, I have links to in the description. Also, if you are prepping yourself for, Mai Tai week, Mai Tai month, Mai Tai day, or just any time, I still have some of my Make and Drink Mai Tai glasses. They are available. There's even a recipe on there. If you don't want to look up a Mai Tai recipe, it's printed there right on the glass for you, so you can pick those up as well. So another excellent drink by Doc Parks, and what I appreciate about this drink and others like it is there's been this thing in the last maybe 5 or 6 years where every single drink is becoming so complicated. And I understand why, and I'm part of that problem, if it is a problem here, sharing kind of complex things from time to time. Bars kind of have to do that. So much information out there, books, recipes, YouTube, for more simplistic drinks that they kind of have to make complicated, clarified drinks, acid-adjusted things using their centrifuge. If you're going to charge $20 for a drink, you kind of have to be special to get people out of their house to come to your bar. So I understand that. But there has been this need that, like on tiki menus, that everything has to be complicated except for your Mai Tai. That you have a Mai Tai and a daiquiri, and everything else has to be just like outlandish in the ingredients that you're never going to find or make or whatever it is. And there's this, I guess I would call it like the golden era of Tiki 2.0, which is the cocktail renaissance inspired era, which is like the late 90s, 2010s, up until probably like 2015, maybe pre-COVID, where you just had like really good balanced tiki drinks using different syrups and spices, but kind of like all of the syrups that I cover in my 8 essential syrups video, which is like the most common syrups, and then some standard juices, and then really good rums or spirits. That's something that I don't think we've gotten away from it, but I always like coming back to those. Like everything in the Smuggler's Cove book is like that. A lot of the Doc Parks drinks are like that, but Doc does have plenty of advanced things. He has his Tandaway book that's out there, which you'll find plenty of advanced things. And advanced stuff is awesome, and it's not to say that we shouldn't do it, but it's nice to have something that's not crazy complicated, but still has been updated to be a better drink than a lot of the ones from the original golden era of tea. So that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like below. Consider subscribing to the channel. Pick up a Mai Tai glass if you'd like to. Otherwise, see you on the next one.